Greetings, Erudite friends, and welcome back to another episode with me, your host, Jeff Kowalk. Since you're a fellow lover of magic as an art form, you'll know that books have played a very important role in magic. In fact, it's been said that there might be more books on the subject of magic than on any other subject. That may or may not be true, but what if it weren't true? What if magic books were dead? Imagine a world without books for a second. What would that mean for magic? There are so many books on the subject of magic, and while it's my goal to continue to add to my library, I am sure I'll never be able to collect one of every book on magic ever produced. But in this episode, I want to look at what if magic books have outlived their useful lives? What if magic books were dead? What if they didn't exist? In other words, what if magicians and society as a whole decided that other forms of learning were better than books? In fact, they were so good that we didn't need books anymore. What would that world look like? So together, let's take an erudite look into what a dystopian future without books might look like. And along the way, you might just find how you could better use your library if it still existed. The first thing that seems obvious to me, anyway, is that without books, we would all be more parrots than we already are. Why is that? When you watch a video, you're more likely to imitate exactly what you see. So if there weren't any books, books inherently make you use your imagination. No two people read the same thing and visualize it in their mind the exact same way. That's because when you read, there is no visual stimulus for what those words actually look like, other than the words that are on the page. But as your mind absorbs the information it's reading as words, it translates that into pictures. You visualize when you read a trick exactly how it should look based on the way your mind works and your creative interests. In fact, if you still had books available to you, and I know you don't in this dystopian future, but if you did, I would recommend that you sit down and read a trick and visualize in your mind as you're reading what it might look like. When you're done reading through the trick, whether it's the effect, the method, explanation, whatever it is, when you're done, I recommend that you also sit there for a moment and picture how it might look for you to perform that trick with your own personality and style. Not only do videos not stimulate your imagination to the same extent that books did, but they also make you focus on just a few tricks. I mean, there are lots of tricks in books, but only a few of those ever make it to be produced via video. And once they're produced on video, what happens? Everyone flocks to that trick to buy it, but along the way there are a lot of other tricks that are lost because someone who produced the video decided that it wasn't as great as what they were going to put on this video. Therefore, it's an easy conclusion for me that if there were no books, we would all be performing the same tricks. And if you think I'm wrong, then wait for the next Penguin video to come out and see how many people at the club or the magic shop or at your local hangout are performing it the next time you see them. With nothing more than video, we're all performing the same tricks. Books allowed you to differentiate yourself, to find a hidden gem. If something's on video, there are no more hidden gems. It's exposed for everyone. Anyone who decides to buy this video is of course going to learn that trick. They won't gloss over something that was on that video. They're going to watch it linearly from beginning to end. And along those same lines of the parroting, with this future of nothing more than videos to learn from, we're not as good as we used to be. What do I mean by that? When you read a trick, not only does your imagination fire and you're finding hidden gems, but when you read books, and this is scientific, it's been proven, when you read, the synapses in your brain fire as if you were performing the moves that you're reading about. It's almost like a visualization technique when you're playing basketball. A basketball player, before they shoot a free throw, will visualize what they're going to do, that they're going to dribble a couple of times, they're going to pull the ball up, they'll shoot, and they visualize the ball going in the net. Your brain does the same thing for you when you read a book about magic tricks. It's almost like your hands are walking through the moves and preparing you to actually practice and perform those same moves. When you watch a video, your brain does not fire the same synapses, and therefore you don't get one of those, I'll call it half practice reps, that you would by reading a book. Obviously, I'm very glad that you can still get books, and even though I'm telling this story as if they don't exist, they do, and you can get them at extremely reasonable prices for both in-print and out-of-print books over at Don's Magic and Books. Don loves books as much as I do, and he wants to make sure that you score a good deal. If you head over to Don's website at donsmagicandbooks.com, you can save 10% this week with the code ALIVE. Don has all kinds of books there, as I mentioned, some out of print, and then of course the latest releases. So 10% off will go a long way to helping you buy more books and support this art that depends so much on magic books. But of course, if books aren't your thing, really guys? He has tricks, DVDs, and props available on his website, and the code is good for 10% off the lowest marked prices. If you buy $20 or more of media items, you can get free shipping in the United States, and if you're an international buyer, email Don to make sure that you get a quote for actual shipping. Please check out his selection this week over at Don's Magic and Books, and don't forget to apply the code ALIVE if you want to make the most of your money. But not only would we all be parrots of each other and performing the same tricks, there would be no crediting. I'm going to get on my soapbox here for a second because I think this is an important time to talk about this. In today's world of easy video production, there's way too little crediting going on. I think it's important to reward creators, authors, magicians who come up with interesting and new ideas and then decide to share them with the magic community. Very few people in magic make a ton of money by creating tricks, so when someone shares their creations, they're doing it for the love of the art and for the love of their brothers and sisters in magic. In this bookless society, there's all kinds of instances of simultaneous creation. It's very arduous to go back and check who actually came up with this first. Can you imagine trying to do a research project using nothing more than DVDs or digital downloads? Of course, without books, Dennis Baer's Conjuring Archive no longer exists, nor does the Conjuring Arts Research Center. There were so many places you could go to find rich history when books existed, but now that books are dead, invention has slowed to a crawl. We already talked about the idea that your mind isn't being stimulated in creative ways the same way it would have with a book. So now we're parroting what everybody else is doing, and we find it very difficult to do research. So you really only know what you know. You can't even know what someone else knows. Finally, we've all become essentially TikTok performers in this video world. Books are again scientifically proven to increase your attention span. Videos don't have that same ability. So when we used to read, it helped us to increase the amount of time that we could devote to something, whether through performance or even learning a trick. Now that everything's video, our attention spans have shortened to 0.5 of a second, and all performances have to be fast, fast, fast. Attention becomes the primary currency, and speed is one of the only ways to capture that attention in this frenetic video society. Books used to increase our attention span, and they used to assist with memory. Those synapses firing create a pattern in your brain that is easier to store than something that's passively absorbed coming at you from a screen. So we used to remember more when we read more books. Don't get me wrong, it may seem like I'm bashing videos, and to a certain extent, I suppose I am. In my own life, I know that video and in-person instruction have played a very important role in my development, but they are a supplemental role to the primary role of books. If you want to be a unique performer performing as only you can, then books should form the very backbone of your education. Books in general, and specifically magic books, are an important part of our culture and ecology. They give us ideas, propel our imagination, and reveal to us the rich history of creators and performers who have shared magic with us. They allow us to present our own unique vision of our artistic offering. Plus, they look great on a shelf. Obviously, they make you look very pedantic. You know, it's possible that if magic books didn't exist, if they truly were dead, then we wouldn't be here. This channel wouldn't exist. And potentially, neither would I. If you want to keep magic books from dying, then get one off of your shelf and read it. If you have a problem with attention span, don't worry about it. Read one sentence at a time. Just reading a little bit is likely to propel you to read more. You're beginning to exercise your mind. And as you exercise your mind, your imagination will increase, your memory will be better, Your synapses will start to form. What types of moves will you have to do? And you'll get a better idea for creating a unique picture of who you are as an individual, as an artist, and as a magician. Not only that, we need to be buying books to support the authors and publishers who are creating and putting these works out there. And if you need help deciding which publishers to support, check out this video on the top 5 magic book publishers of which I'm aware. If you disagree with me on anything I've said in this video, please drop a comment down below, and if you do agree with me, hit the like button so that I know you're on board with books. As always, my friends, thank you for watching, and until next time, keep reading.